Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Hey, guys.
It's just Steve and I today. Roger is hosting a fundraiser for the Moose Lodge. So let us know where you're checking in from. And, of course, if you have any questions. Good evening, all. Currently watching at over 36,000 feet. How do you say this?
Yeah. Andrew's traveling. I don't know if he's going away or he's coming back. He didn't say.
There you go. Avery said it would be a complete week for me. Yeah, happy hump day, everybody. Happy hump day.
Yeah, I told him I love the dedication. You know, he's committed to get online while he's in a flight.
There you go. There you go. We actually, was it him that was watching us from the airport last week as well?
He might have been.
Somebody's
Maybe he's on his way back then.
Yeah. Rick said, I'm here. Let's get things ready. So I wanted to say something that the common question I've been getting, or the most common question that I've been getting when I first said I'm kind of migrating from lasers to CNCs is not what bits did I buy, not what was my first project, not what have I had problems with. The most common question I had was, has your wife heard it yet?
See, it's not just me.
So, and then the second question is, are you going to run them both at the same time? Yeah. So, hearing that like repeatedly, I kind of was like really thinking about that. And so I went through the troubles of soundproofing my basement. So you'll see that as the first upgrade. So where the floor joists kind of like meet behind me, where they meet the foundation, I flushed it off with the foundation, and then only directly above the CNC, I put that pink foam over it, and then over the
foam,
top,
like styrofoam.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a piece.
Yeah, that's not really good soundproofing though.
This stuff.
Yeah, that's not fantastic.
Well, it's going to be better than nothing.
So if you go to like Home Depot or something, get Roxol, which they actually make acoustic panels. They're about an inch thick, and it's like fiberglass. And like I have them, well, not these ones in here, but in my workshop I have them. And you can just wrap cloth around them and turn them into like nice looking panels.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I took some cedar fence pickets and I ripped them down to like make 3 out of 1, and I nailed that up to this board.
Yeah,
nailed this up to this board, and then I'm taking pegboard and sticking over the top of this, but there's going to be a little gap. So exactly what you're saying, Steve, if I wanted to put anything additional in between that gap, I could.
Yeah, see, the problem with that stuff is it's a hard surface, right? So the sound reflects, and if it goes straight up, it's going to come straight down off the floor, and it'll basically become an oscillation chamber in your basement. So that might actually make the sound louder. We'll see, but and this is why Roxol is good, right? Because it absorbs the sound, like it just deadens it, right? So there's no echo, there's no anything, and it doesn't get through to the other side of it.
Yeah, so I still could do that then.
Yeah,
like how we were talking. Yeah,
it works best if you see. The reason I know this is because I built one of my sons is a music producer. And in my previous house, I had a really nice studio, and the tiles were suspended from the ceiling on short cables.
Okay.
So they're not touching the ceiling. There's about a 8-inch air gap between the tile and the ceiling. And that place was super quiet. I used to go in there and sleep when he wasn't working because it was like the quietest place in the house.
Nice. So question, everyone. Those who are using a CNC in their home, or maybe even their garage, What did you do to soundproof? And did it work?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, if you have a CNC in your house, do you still have a spouse?
That sounds about right?
See, my wife made me move my workshop into a separate building. So
did that cause that?
no, not the CNC. It just, I mean, when we bought this house, it was actually there. It was just a big empty space, and I finished it off and turned it into I'll say a nicer garage, a nicer workshop than it was. It's still
accumulating more stuff.
Yeah. But I don't have a lot of soundproofing in there because I don't generally record in there anymore. Just not because it's acoustically bad. I mean, it is, but you could fix that. It's because it's dusty.
Yeah.
Although I finally hung up my air filter this week on the ceiling. See, the problem I have is my ceiling is 12 feet tall, right? Like I have 12-foot ceilings. So I had this 50-pound air filter, and I'm looking 12 feet off the ceiling, off the ground to figure out how to put it on 4 hooks. It involved my tractor and a bunch of chain, but I did it.
There you go. So do you dropped it way lower?
No, I can't because my garage door is right there. So it has to go above the garage door, which is 11 feet, well, about 10 feet from the ceiling or from the ground.
Okay.
So I had about 2 feet there, 22 inches, I guess, is what I had.
You know what? I obviously know that it works. It makes a drastic difference. But what I forget sometimes is what the filter is supposed to look like. When I put a new filter in it and it's like neon green, you're like, oh man. That's what it looks like.
So mine has a slot in the front for just a regular, like a furnace filter as well. So that takes out the heavy stuff first.
Okay.
And all that's left is the micron size stuff. So which is caught in the second filter.
Yeah, mine has the furnace style and then like a bag, it almost looks like in the inside, like a white bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely drastic difference, man.
I have a heat pump in there, and the heat pump guy comes once a year to clean out all my heat pumps. I have 3 of them, and he gets to the one in my workshop, which is also 10 feet off the floor, and it's just like black paste that comes out of there. Like it's really dirty. And I mean, I blow it out every couple of weeks. I take a air compressor and blow it out, but it's still dirty.
Yeah. Let's see.
So we had some questions here. So Tony asked this question. I answered it in the chat here already, but Tony's asking if IR will engrave flat glass. IR really doesn't engrave any glass. To do good glass engraving, sadly, you need a different laser. You need a UV laser.
Yes. Which are still fairly expensive at this point. I'm sure the price is going to come down because you're seeing it become a more common laser. So
I mean, the cheap, well, I wouldn't say the cheapest one is the Omni 1 or Omni X, but it's one of the nicest ones. I actually have 2 UV lasers in my shop as of yesterday. I have a
nice
X. I'm upgrading the Omni X to 10 watt. I'm going to do a video on the upgrade. I'm waiting for them to send me a cable, but I also have the X-Tool F2 Ultra UV laser sitting there, which looks really pretty. Like it's a nice looking laser.
How many watts are they?
I can't really talk about anything yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just, I had to get permission to basically say I have one, let alone what it does.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's a nice looking laser. It's basically the F2 Ultra that's orange instead of black or dark green or whatever the color of the front is.
So we're still experiencing these YouTube displaying handles versus names. So
I don't know what that is. Like, I mean, I didn't do anything to my channel to make that happen.
Me neither. So I think it's just something with YouTube directly. It has nothing that we actually did.
But Bosnian Trucker is Bosnian Trucker, but
right. Well, the same thing, but because he made the names the same as mine. Mine's Rick's 2 Sensi regardless.
Yeah, but Jim's is his @ handle.
Right. You can have 2 separate names So whatever the at handle is, that's what's going to show. So if you made them both the same name, like I did, Rick's 2 cents either way.
Yeah, but see, technically mine's not the same name because my at handle doesn't have spaces in it. And Bosnian Trucker's name has a space in it. So it can't be the same as his at handle.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, but it seems to be people, like, I assume Bosnian Trucker is attached through your channel. Like Jim was most likely my channel. Radu said last week that he was on my channel.
Yeah, hello from Chicago. Hello.
Hey, Jim.
I'm in Chicago as well as Roger. Biden Trucker said hello from Waterloo, Iowa.
Oh, he must be home this week.
There you go. Tony said thanks. Any small lower cost ones out there?
Well, you can get a 20 watt UV, or well, no, you can't get a 5 watts, the smallest, and they all tend to be a couple $1,000s.
Yeah,
I don't anticipate a UV laser ever getting down to like sub $1,000.
No, unless there's some drastic change in hardware, right? But
sure. I mean, maybe somebody comes up with a new laser module or something, but
right. But as of now, I think that's kind of like the ballpark figure.
Yeah, well, I think because really there's like Coherent and JPT, I think, are the only ones who make them, so there's not a lot of competition. And
yeah. Tim said, so you've not fixed the name issues yet. Nope, it's not.
And it's got to be my channel, but I don't know what would cause that.
Yeah, maybe it's a Canadian thing. Canadians are hating on Americans.
Well, we're not, but although we did lose the World Series, which kind of sucked. But
so we were bowling and the game was on. My wife didn't want to leave. She just wanted to watch it. I'm like, look, we're gonna pay like $50 because to keep bowling, so you can go home and watch this.
It could be over by then.
That's what she said. She wanted to watch it. So it says all the best marketing LLC. So I'm pretty sure this is ABT marketing.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So hello. Thanks for joining the live as usual. Radu said, hi all, Chris, Tim, and TTC.
Yeah. Jim, in other words.
Chris said, Rick, a real question. What are you doing with the green screen now that you have a real CNC?
Well, we haven't established that. You could just have a really nice screen back there. I could put a CNC back here, and it would.
No, I don't have those fancy monitors that Steve has. I wouldn't mind them, but I don't have them.
They were actually pretty cheap. Like, they're just 3 televisions, right?
Right.
I got them on a Boxing Day sale or something, or a Christmas sale, whatever you call it.
Looks cool.
And maybe it was Black Friday, because we have Black Fridays here now for some reason. I'm not sure why, but yeah, they were. And I mean, after I bought them at Costco, and about a week after I bought them, they went on sale again, and they were another $100 off. So I got $300. I got $300 back after that.
Nice. I'm horrible at that. I never do that, man. I should. Just like the Menards here, they give us 20% off. All you have to do is mail in the receipts. I never do it.
Yeah. Well, Costco was easy too. All I had to do is, I ordered them online, so all I had to do was put my order number in there, and they went, "Okay, we'll take care of it."
That's awesome.
No survey or quiz or anything. It was just easy.
Right. As it should be, right? Just unfortunately, it's just not normally that way. Tim says, ComMaker has the Omni one.
Yeah. And that's 5. I think there is a 10-watt version of the Omni one as well. Somebody raised an interesting question. A guy I work with off and on down in Vegas asked an interesting question, because you can buy an Omni X without the case, without all the glass and overhead fans and things, at which point it looks a lot like an Omni 1. And he said, is that is that an equitable thing to do? Like, because it's quite a bit cheaper apparently. I don't know what the price is, but so as I did my upgrade to the 10 watt, I have it running without the case on it right now, and I kind of like it.
See.
Yeah, I kind of like it because you're not always opening and closing the door. Now you got to wear glasses everywhere, but.
Clack said you can't hear mine anywhere in the house, but I thought you were. Yeah,
he's
but Clack,
he's
on the opposite side of his driveway, right? It's not even attached to his house.
Well, so is mine. I walk across my driveway to get to my shop, and it's insulated and soundproof anyway. So, there's a lot of advantages to having your workshop in a separate building from your house. Sound is one of them, but if it's like an actual job for you, what it allows you to do is get away from work, right? So I don't know. I don't mind it separate. It's a bit nasty in January when I got to walk across the driveway and it's cold.
Tim says, yes, Tony, and the Omni-One UV laser, I use it for all my glass awards.
Yep.
Yeah, and to the point that, like, this is not something that's new technology. It's just newer technologies readily available to be used in a small business type, because in the past, when those were done, they were highly industrial, very, very expensive lasers, right? You wouldn't have seen it in a small mom pop type environment.
Yeah, my first job, actually, I worked in industrial UV lasers they all weighed about 700 pounds and had a beam about, but they were awesome.
Chris said I have a separate shed for my CNC. See, that's what I didn't want. I don't want my wife to try to kick me out of the house. I do have 3 garages, but they're just loaded with stuff. We own a farm, so.
Kevin's saying hello. Nice 5-level video this week. 5 levels?
Okay.
I don't know.
I think.
Did you just point an arrow there?
I'm not sure what 5 means, but thank you. I'll take it. 5 stars are normally good. Dale the South.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Dale says there's a difference between soundproofing and sound deadening. Yes. Yes, sound deadening is what we're talking about here, right? When the sound goes up there, you want it to die before it hits the floor above you. So,
yes.
And soundproofing is kind of the other way, right? If there's noise outside, you can't hear it. It's sound deadening on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, so I'm basically trying to eliminate just absolutely nuts upstairs from hearing 2 CNCs run.
Did you try it when your wife wasn't there?
No, because I have actually I have the paneling laying right on top of my CNC. It was too long and too heavy for me to kind of like do this. So I need my daughter's help to lift it up, put two screws, and then I can, But I was debating on doing exactly what you said, Steve, in between. I almost want to turn my camera on and let you see if I can do this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Come on, stop. There you go. See how those boards are there?
Yeah. Yeah. See, the pink stuff is just going to reflect sound like crazy. Now it might make it quieter. Right, it might make it quieter upstairs, but it might not, because the sound will come back down and hit the floor, which I assume is concrete. And then it'll bounce again, right? So
I'm thinking then in between those boards, the reason I put those boards up because I wanted to screw the pegboard to it. The only reason I'm putting the pegboard is just for aesthetics, right? I think it just looks nicer. That's the only purpose, right?
If you get some of this rock salt and wrap it in cloth and suspend it from the ceiling, it looks nice.
Well, I was thinking I could stick it behind the pegboard.
No, I don't think you want that. You want to deaden the sound as soon as you want the sound deadening to be the first thing it hits.
But doesn't that stuff like it's like foam, right? So it's just gonna get covered in dust.
It's like fiberglass.
See if you can find a link and want to send it to me to make sure I'm thinking of the same thing.
I'll find you the Canadian Home Depot link. Oops.
Yeah, right. This is your house like 50 feet away, Clack. Yeah.
Mine's actually, so I had to put a piece of fiber optic cable in from my furnace, my utility room, which is right beside my driveway in my house, across the driveway to my workshop. And I needed a 100-foot piece of fiber optic cable. So I didn't think it was that far because it's really like my driveway at that point is probably like 3 cars wide. And then there's a flower bed on one side, but it is underground. So maybe it's 50 feet underground. I don't know. But it took
Bill said, Steve comments are right on. I built some of those panels for a church. They worked awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
They're in like, well, here, let me see if I can find, I'll go to.
So let us know, guys. How did you soundproof? I'm obviously not the only person who can't have a CNC in their house. Like, I understand that a separate workshop is ideal. That's not always practical, at least not starting off.
Your life depends on it, man.
I know, man. No. At some point, I'm going to have to own up to it. So this Sunday, I'm turning 46. And Saturday, my wife's turning 45. So, yeah. Robert said, good evening, everyone. Cheers. Hello, hello. So we retired guys have a thing called a daily nap. I think we had talked about this a few weeks back because my wife said that I should go to the doctor and get checked because after work I was taking a nap and something's wrong with me and I'm used to work 100 hours a week and I'm like, that's not normal.
I told my doctor that I was tired all the time and she said, well, go have a sleep study. And it's like, well, I wake up at like 5 in the morning and I go to bed at 11. So that's not a lot of time to sleep.
Right. Yeah, I go to bed about midnight, 12:30, and I'm up by 4:30, 5:30 the latest. 5:30 the latest. So says Steve, did you update your U5 to a 10 watt?
Yes. It's 4 screws, literally, and a couple of plugs. Minus one cable that I still need for autofocus. But.
So what are you actually upgrading to?
So the entire in an Omni X, the entire laser is the laser module sitting on the tower, right?
The bottom
inside the box on the table, like your work area, it's almost empty. There's a power supply and a tiny little JPT controller, and that's it. And a stepper motor driver, I think, is in there. And other than that, it's everything else is done in the box up on the tower.
Chris said, I'm waiting for UVs to come down about 75% release price. My wife needs something done that needs UV. Which comes first? I would say that if your wife just needs an item done, amongst our group, there's definitely a few people that have them. I just have it made versus spending $8,000 for one thing for your wife. I'm not saying it's not something to save up for, but if you want something made right away, I'm sure someone from the group would help you out.
Here, let me paste this one. This isn't the stuff I was thinking of, but this may be actually better.
All right, let's see it, Steve.
Somewhere down in the link there. I stuck the link down at the bottom of the chat.
Oh, okay. You put it in the chat?
Yeah. This stuff is actually stuff they put on the outside of construction when they're making it, but it's
silver board?
But it's rigid, right?
Let me see. Hold on.
But that's not what I was thinking of. The stuff I was thinking of is probably the same stuff without all that aluminum foil on the outside of it.
Let me find it. Do you still have it open?
I did seconds ago. Here, let me see if I can get it back.
I was gonna say share your screen.
All right. Let me close off all the porn here. Share screen. This window. So this is stuff they normally put on the outside of the building, but it's the same stuff. Now, what I would worry about with this is that foil might be a bit reflective because it's designed to be on the outside. So the other stuff that I was thinking
that's the stuff I have right there, that pink stuff.
Yeah, this isn't good for soundproofing though. Let me see. So the other stuff I was thinking of is this, but this is the 3-inch bats, not the board. So this is like fiberglass, except it's not fiberglass. It's made out of like, I don't know, metal tailings from like steel mills and stuff. And it works really well, but they do make it in like a 1-inch rigid board. It works really well. If you can only get this stuff, this is actually what I used in my studio, which I just put a wooden frame around it and stretch cloth over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took the echoes out of this room really well. There's still a couple up on the ceiling that I could put maybe one up there, but I didn't bother.
It's kind of pricey.
So, well, that's a whole bag, so you could put the rest of it in your attic and keep your house warm. Yeah. Like I used 4 of them here in a bag of, I don't know, I think there's 12 in a bag.
Yeah, it's only 47 inches long.
Yeah,
for $82. Pretty expensive.
Well, how much is your life worth, man? I'm telling you, man, your wife is gonna rip you apart. Just do that. Just turn it on one time when you know she's watching like her favorite program or something, and just see what she says.
So she said to me, "Why did you buy that foam stuff? Like, what are you doing? I thought you were going to be building the other CNC." I said, "Well, because the CNC is sitting upstairs in my front room, in like a mud room." And I said, "Well, I figured it'd be easier if we move a ladder around and stuff to work on the ceiling instead of having that table in the way." And she says, "Well, what's the big deal?" And I says, "You." She's like, "What is that supposed to mean?" I says, "I just think you're gonna complain." So
yeah. So this stuff is like what, $6 a bat. So you could make a panel for $20. You can make like a single 2x4 foot panel.
Right.
And
yeah,
and if you want to cheap out on the covering for it, go get landscaping material, the black stuff, and just cover it in that. Now it has to be black, which may not be good for you, but I used actual material. I used landscaping material on the back just to keep this stuff inside the frame.
I got you. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just basic frame.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still curious what others have used. So let us know if it's this something you went through as well, and what exactly did you use? Let's see here. I'm trying to.
I don't know where we are in the stream here.
I'm trying to find it. I think this is where we were last at. So it said "Bam." You want to take this one, Steve?
I guess I have to do the 3D printing stuff tonight. So Roy says bamboo P1S or wait for the P2S to drop. Hasn't the P2S dropped already? I personally would lean to the P2S only because I have an H2D, which has very similar parts. As far as I can tell, this printer, the P2S, is the same as the H2S, but has a smaller footprint, a smaller workspace. Same extruder, same everything.
So what's different?
The P1S, I think, is now obsolete, right?
It's just a newer version.
Yeah, this is the thing that supersedes it.
Okay.
I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and I said if I was buying a second 3D printer today, I would buy another bamboo printer.
I thought you were going to say Creality because Roger was
no. Although he has a Creality, and I was comparing things. I printed the same thing that he was printing, and just to compare, I did this today, and the Creality is comparable. I mean, it's not is exactly as good, but it's pretty close. But this bamboo thing, it just takes all the drama out of doing anything with a 3D printer. So
yeah, that's what I hear. So it's on my list. Scott said hello from Indiana in our backyard. I'm in Illinois. Roger as well. ABT Marketing said it's YouTube all across the boards. Some streams show handles, others show it regular.
Huh. Well, that's I guess that's encouraging. It's not something I've done to my channel. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, so Phil said I'm on yours, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So everybody who's on my channel seems to have these at names. The thing with YouTube, because it's a web service, it like I could be running a different version of the YouTube application in my browser than somebody else is, right? Because they do this, they test things with groups of people, and
yeah,
YouTube, if you're listening, get rid of the at names and put people's names back on there.
I have a meeting with them on Thursday at 6 a.m., so I'll say something. Biden said, no, I'm not. Kansas City, going home. Nice one.
Oh, he's the other direction.
Showing different than on Rogers. So maybe it's just here, Steve. So mine's is the normal one, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're the admin or something on StreamYard.
Weird. No idea. Radu said, I heard the at name thing is the software used for broadcasting. I forgot the name right. We use StreamYard.
StreamYard, probably. Well,
yeah, I just think
Clack uses StreamYard. I wonder if he has this problem.
I just think if it was StreamYard, then it would be everyone's name. So since it's not everyone's name,
you would think so. But StreamYard has to get those names from YouTube, right? And if it says give me the name, that might be what it's getting back.
So yeah, I'm hearing people say it's a StreamYard setting. Maybe I'll dig into that and see after the live and see if I can come up with anything. I'll just shoot StreamYard a message maybe.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way.
Yeah.
There's nothing obvious in the settings.
Yeah, Radu said StreamYard. Yeah, that was it, Chris. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll check it out. I'll look into it. Tim said watching YouTube videos on why the handles are showing instead of real names. Right? Too funny.
Yeah. Tim says this explains why. This explains why, and it's a new thing YouTube is doing and will be permanent on all channels. Huh. So you're getting rid of our fancy names?
You know what else I realized is that someone asked me why I no longer list my email on the YouTube channel. And they had to go to one of my videos to list my email. Excuse me. I said, what are you talking about? So I actually went to yours, Steve, and then I went to Rogers, and I noticed yours doesn't show it either. So it wasn't my. Hold on, I put my nose. Let's get back.
Well, Rick is away fixing his nose. Yeah, I don't know what this problem is, but if it's something YouTube is doing to us, well, I guess that kind of sucks. But pretty soon everybody will be under the same misery, I suppose. Tim says it has to do with cell phones. I don't use a cell phone.
Excuse me.
It has to do with cell phone. They have to be able to support cell phones. You gonna be okay there, man?
Yeah, I'm just getting over this, man. Finally, I'm at the tail end of it. It's been a rough 2 weeks.
You allergic to something?
Excuse me. Sam said, hello, everyone. Yeah, so I guess a way to fix this would be to make, excuse me, to make your handle and your channel name the same. That's what I did.
Well, I don't want to do that.
You sound like that commercial. I don't want to grow up because I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Is Toys R Us still around? I think all the Toys R Us in Canada are all gone now.
You know what? They just opened up some.
Yeah, so Chris says put rock panels up. That's the ones I'm thinking of. It's rock wool, and that's the thing I showed you there is rock wool. It's not fiberglass.
Man, let me Google this really quick. Rockwell, huh?
Rock wool.
Not
Rockwell. Rockwell will give you tiles for the space shuttle.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is 90 feet from his house.
Yeah, it is. It's basically that stuff you showed me, Steve.
Yes. But they do make it in a hard, like they take that 3-inch piece and they compress it down into 1 inch, and it's like a hard board.
Hey, hold on. I'm looking on their website.
Chris says his daily nap is called Pop Stop. Yeah, I need one of those.
1 second.
I don't actually set out to have a nap. I just start reading the news or something on my iPad, and within 10 minutes, it's hitting me in the face. Tim says, can they do the same for the Omni 1? Take it from 5 to 10. I don't know. There is a 10-watt Omni 1, but I think it's pretty much a different laser than the 5-watt. This might be one of the reasons why they went with the new Omni X model, because it's got a lot more kind of pluggability of parts than
Sorry, guys.
There's that link. Man, you're hurting.
Yeah.
Chris is like, no, that'll be my excuse to get the UV sooner.
Well, happy wife, happy life. If that's what she wants.
My wife wants nothing to do with lasers. I'm trying to convince her to quit her job and become my ops manager, but she still wants to go to work.
She doesn't like you that much.
No, I don't know what she'd do if she had to spend 24 hours a day with me.
She's not ready to join the Steve fan club yet.
Well, she says she is. I mean, she's younger than I am, so she's got 3 or 4 more years to complain before she does what I did, which is just say, sorry, I'm not going to work today or ever.
No, that's what happens when you marry a 19-year-old, Steve.
19?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah, I said 19.
No, I couldn't keep up with a 19-year-old. Jeez. No, she's 3 years younger than I am, though.
Okay. Santa's Legs Engraven said, this time change for some reason this year has me waking up at 4, and the old 5 I can't seem to break it.
So so sleep has always been an issue for me. And this isn't an endorsement, because I got these things, these Soundcore A30 earbuds. Paid cash money for them, but it was worth every penny. And plug them in at night. And
to go to sleep?
Yeah, and you can play. Well, my favorite is kind of rainy night, but you can play all kinds of different variations of sounds. And it's also got noise canceling built into them, and they're really small and really light. Like you can sleep. I'm a side sleeper, so you can sleep on your side without it punching through your eardrum, like some of them do.
I might have to get that just because my wife snores so loud. Good Lord.
Yeah, don't say that on a public forum. You'll notice I didn't say that.
She doesn't watch our lives, so
Yeah, but friends might. So it didn't actually make me sleep longer, but I sleep sounder. And there's a whole bunch of analytics on it. It's not super reliable, but it will tell you when you're in deep sleep versus light sleep. And
that's cool.
I like them.
Might be something we're checking out.
It was a desperate move. It was like, oh, I see these things, and it's like, oh, I'm going to spend some money.
Radu said, have either of you talked to reps about getting the longer UV? I can't talk about it. So, yes.
Yes. Well, we didn't. They came to all of us individually.
Yeah.
So I will do some kind of a heater type video for that printer soon. They're going to send me some stuff to look at.
So Jenny told me yesterday that she's making something each individually for us.
Yes. Yeah, I asked her to make something.
Right.
Like a bunch of B-roll, right?
Right, but unique to you, unique to me, unique to Roger. Yes. It's not a generic one that everyone's going to be sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked her to do that.
Okay.
And to get back to Rado's question here, they're still in alpha mode. They've got a very limited number of these printers. They're using most of them for development. But as soon as they get into some kind of a stable beta state, I think they're going to send them out to a bunch of people.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I did see that they had a VIP thing for $50.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they've got a Kickstarter project now, right?
Right. So is that like public right now?
Yeah, I think so.
The $50 No, it said $50.
Well, I think that's the retainer.
It said $50 save $1,300. So I was going to email them about it because I thought the wording was kind of like, is that all you're asking? So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't misleading.
Wonder if they have the Kickstarter project up yet. I don't think they do.
Yeah, in the bottom left-hand corner, it said save $1,300, something like that. And it said it was exclusive VIP offering.
Yeah, I don't.
20 said they're above my budget.
Yeah, well, UV printers aren't cheap. I did see. I don't know if anybody watches Mr. Who's the Boss. He's a pretty big YouTuber, but he did a video recently on all the crap that shows up in Instagram ads, and he bought it all. And one of the things he bought was the Eufy Make E1. And of course, this guy is like, he reviews phones, right, for the most part.
Right.
And he was like, he literally dropped his phone in without the case on. Now it was a bit baked because he didn't magically print over his lens, but he drops his phone there and prints directly onto the back of his phone case. And he was blown away. Like, this is the thing, right? We do cool stuff. And then people who are smart in their own right, but not in this segment, you show them stuff like this, and they're just like completely amazed with things that we do, right? Like lasers and CNCs and things. And now UV printers. So it was entertaining. In general, his videos tend to be pretty entertaining. But
someone's asking, where's Roger? Roger is at a charity event today for the Moose Lodge. He's a lodge member, so he's I think he's making ribs. And he will not be on our next live as well because he has some family things to take care of. I won't share what it is. I'll leave that to him if he chooses to.
Do the moose guys wear like antlers? Like, is it some kind of? Is it like an ultra secretive cult? Is it like the Illuminati or something?
So Roger was like protective in a way when he said, everyone thinks that the Moose Lodges are just drunk, so all they do is drink, and I've been guilty of that, right? Because that's all I thought it was. I thought it was kind of like a private bar. I didn't really think they did things like that. I kind of thought it was.
So really, they're not a bunch of drunks. They're just a bunch of people who want to take over the world secretly.
Tim said, I might be moving for an Omni 1, new Omni 1X or the X201, but it's released. I'm in CAD, but I'm sure it'll come with a good price.
Well, if you're in my neighborhood in the next little while, Tim, you can come and look at both of these, the new X2 and the Omni one. I mean, I can't specifically show you the X201, but if you happen to wander in and it's on my workbench, you might see it.
Hello from Utah. Hello. Thank you for dropping in. Let us know if you have any questions. Trades. Why can't I say this? Trade Skill Anonymous. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. Hello.
You missed Rick sneezing continuously there for 5 minutes. Now he's great.
I'm. Go
ahead. Tim says, member 6 months. This explains why Steve. Oh, this explains why, and it's a new thing YouTube is doing. It will be permanent on all channels. Well, it kind of blows. Because you miss all the cool names, right?
Well, or like I said, just change it. Change your handle.
I don't want to.
I know you're only allowed to do it so often.
Yeah, you can only change it 3 times or something.
Right.
I don't want to do another rebrand of my whole channel just because I don't like the @ symbol. Rick
said, Fish Lake, Indiana says hello. Man, I've never heard of that. That's your backyard. I like that name, Fish Lake.
He sounds like he lives in like the best place. You wake up in the morning and throw a line into the water, and
there you go. That's to me how Canada was.
Well, I do confess that I can walk to the nearest lake from my house. It's about 5 minutes, maybe 10-minute walk.
No, I said as a fisherman, it wasn't very hard to catch fish in Canada. It was like, I remember as a kid, I would literally shine hooks with wax and put nothing on it and catch fish.
Yeah, that was north though.
Yeah,
actually, the lake where I live close to, it doesn't really have much fish in it because it's brackish, because it actually goes out to the ocean.
Oh, okay.
High tide pushes it back in, right? So,
you want to take
all channels. We just read that one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Tim. Well, actually, Tim sent it again. He wants to make sure. Keep me in mind. This is so. Well, we can talk offline, Tim. I might have something for you.
Chris said, "Yep. Sometimes I have to dig into YouTube channel info to find someone's email info. You used to be able to just go under more info, and right where all your links were, there was an option that says email, but it made you do this like authentication thing to make sure you weren't a bot.
Yeah.
The whole email thing is gone.
It doesn't always do that. Like, I think I have mine turned off. I don't care who sends me email.
No, so right now on your channel, Steve, it doesn't show your email at all. It's not even an option.
It's in my I put it in my descriptions.
Right, but it used to be under more when it listed all your stuff under your description on your channel. It's gone.
Wow.
I only know because I looked.
Stalking.
When someone asked me how come I took my email off, and I said, I didn't do that.
Let me see.
So
yeah, it's not. Oh yeah, I can click and view the email address. Yeah. It's there. There's a button there.
Yeah.
That says click here to view it.
So.
Learning something more and more about YouTube all the time.
Yeah, changing settings. Redu said, yeah, they can't be the same it wouldn't let me remove the @ in the handle.
No, you can't do that. Because it's used in the URL for if you have a published channel.
Yes.
Like you can go to, for mine, I guess yours is probably the same, Rick. You can go to youtube.com/@SteveMakesEverything and it'll take you there.
Yeah.
Instead of that cryptic hashtag that or hash code that they use when you create a channel.
I'm sneezing from all that CNC dust. And I've just this last 2 weeks I've been kind of sick. Last 2 weeks, Steve and Roger been doing all the reading because my voice sounds like a frog. It hurt when I talk. So, but it's got sniffles a little still.
Rick says he watched my latest 5 steps video. Yeah, I just had a few people say, like, where do I start and what's next, and so I kind of boiled it down into kind of 5 phases. Now it doesn't. What I should have said in that video is this isn't necessarily a ladder. Like, you don't always have to climb to the next step, because a lot of people are just happy to have a hobby, right? And you don't have to go all the way to having a running business, or much less a brand of some sort where you can mention the name and people know who you are. But they're all there anyway. Tim says, I tried the 24-hour with the wife thing during the first month of COVID. Oh, this is spending 24 hours with your spouse. Felt like being let out. This is another thing you shouldn't say on an open channel. Felt like being let out of prison when it was over. See, my wife works from home anyway, so and I did too when I was working. I worked from home, but we see each other in the morning, have a coffee, and then it's 5 o'clock the next time I see her, sometimes at lunchtime.
Chris said, I told my boss I was taking a few days off. He asked how many. I told him 265 once a year. Oops, 365.
Yeah, my boss told me he wanted me to go to North Carolina, and I said, nah, I don't think so. I'm going to quit. He thought that was a little extreme just because he asked me to go to North Carolina. But
so the last 3 years, my boss, they keep saying he's retired, and they keep telling me I'm going to get a job. And I'm doing his job because he's supposed to be training me to do his job. And all the last 2 years I've been doing his job. I'm like, why would he leave? I'm doing his complete job.
Yeah, he's still getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like a phase out phase because he was retiring. He's like, oh, he's at 30, 50, 80. And the whole time I was doing his job. For the last 3 years, I've been doing my job, boss. And he kicks his feet up on his desk and does nothing. It's just kind of sad. Tim said, Rick, do what I did. Get a den with the bed.
Get a studio with a sofa. It's functional.
Yeah, you go.
I can actually play like some ocean video on the back there and listen to soothing waves.
Good evening, guys. Checking in a little late tonight. Better late than never. Late never. Thanks for stopping in.
Oh, here's Andrew. Oh, he's landing in Toronto, so he's heading back this direction.
Okay. Nice.
Tim says, great, another UV printer Kickstarter. You'll see it next summer. Yeah, I think the E1 experience was maybe a little bitter. Normally Kickstarters don't drag on that long, but
the other thing that we were saying is that initially, and you guys can not like what I'm going to say, but initially to me, this Kickstarter was really like Kickstarter companies, right? Like companies you never heard of. And now it's just like Kickstarter something, not company. So like if Xtool has a Kickstarter, they have deep pockets. They don't really need you, but at the end of the day, if it works, why wouldn't they?
Well, some of it, I mean, I can see some justification for it, right? It's kind of free marketing because you come up with an idea and you get to seed it out to the market and see, kind of gauge how popular it's going to be, right? Like I think honestly, Eufy setting a new Kickstarter investment record shocked them, right? Because their Kickstarter was for $600,000 and they made 250 million or some stupid thing. Like it was just some crazy amount of money, right?
Right.
When you see that happen, you better be ramping up production, right?
Yeah.
So they do get something out of it. But yeah, when you look at someone like Xtool, that's got what 38% of the market, and then they do a Kickstarter, it's like, do you really need to do that?
Right.
But so I would assume they're doing it just for marketing, just to kind of get that feel.
Chris said it's a $50 deposit on your deposit. You know what, Chris? I was not 100% sure on the verbiage, and I thought it could be a little misleading if you're reading it. So I'm going to verify, and then also ask, am I allowed to share that? And if that is the case, I'll share it in our Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of our Facebook group, make sure that you do join. Our Facebook group is shoptalklive.club. This is not a website. It's just an automatic URL forward to our Facebook group. This Facebook group is not my Facebook group. It's not Steve's or Roger's, Shop Talk Live's. And the reason that I'm saying that is because if you are a YouTuber, an influencer, a seller, you're not stepping on any one of our toes, sharing any of your projects or things you sell. This is collectively for the group, so we highly encourage you to do so. Now, if you went to Steve's Facebook page and you're selling the same thing he does and you're posting, that's maybe a little different. But
if you did, it would probably take me a month to notice anyway, because I'm such a bad social media person.
Yeah, so post away. We get blown away all the time on some of the things that people share. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some nice projects on there. You're at the moose ribs comment.
Okay. Yes, moose rib. He is making ribs and some jalapeno special rub sauce.
You sure you said jalapeno right?
Yeah. I sound a little nasally, but yeah.
You don't say jalapeno?
No. Chris said most of the types of places where drunks do stuff for charities. See, and I'm telling you, Roger was very clear, and he says that's kind of a bad reputation that they had gotten. He wanted to steer clear of that. He said that's not necessarily the case. But being honest, that's what I just thought it was like, kind of like, that's what I always thought it was. But yeah, they'll say a couple bad apples can, make people think certain ways.
So Fish Lake, we were talking about Fish Lake. Rick says there's 2 lakes just south of LaPorte, Indiana.
I did a lot of boring in LaPorte, Indiana. Chris said I can walk
over here putting up poles or something.
No, boring, horizontal directional drilling.
Oh.
Yep. So Chris said I can walk to the nearest lake, might take me 20 or 30 days.
Well, that's Australia for you. You'd probably get bitten by 300 snakes on the way. I saw a map today on I think it was Instagram, and it was just a map of Australia with ocean around it, and it was a chart, and the green was things places where things will try to kill you on land, and the blue is things things that'll try to kill you in the water, and the black line, the drawing, like the outline of Australia, was both.
It just seems like kind of like they still have like prehistoric type, crazy, overly large animals. You
gotta wonder what happened. Like, how come Australia seems to have the bulk of all the deadly things? Like here, nothing kills you here. Like bear, maybe, if you ran into one, but
yeah. So my brother-in-law, he's a Marine, did plenty of back-to-back deployments, goes to Canada, we're camping, and he gets bit by a spider and gets a red spot, and he says, I need to go to the hospital, get a shot. I said, dude, You've been all over the world in war. You get bit by a spider. You want to go get a shot? He's like, dude, it's Canada. And I said, it's not Australia, man. We're in Canada.
I don't think we have any poisonous spiders. I mean, there's rattlesnakes, but not many. And bears. So. I mean, if you see a bear and he looks hungry, then yeah, you probably want to avoid him. But
yes,
maybe the occasional coyote. But
right, Dewey said, okay, as much as you want to say about it, the F2 15-watt blue and 5-watt IR just came out, but hasn't there already been an F2 Ultra 20-watt and 20-watt IR? So now you're saying
well, no. So the F2 Ultra is a 60-watt MOPA laser and 20-watt. Actually, it's a 40-watt blue laser.
Wow.
Yeah. So naming convention wise, I do wonder why they called that new little laser the F2, because it looks nothing like an F2 Ultra. I think it's simply because it's a replacement for the F1. Which was the previous generation of little portable laser. And to make it even more confusing, now they have the F2 Ultra with a UV laser. And as far as I know, it only has a UV laser. I don't know if it has a blue diode or not. I haven't tried that.
LTX Design say, hey, and he's asking, do you have the Dominator built yet? No, it'll be built this Saturday. I took Friday off, so it'll be built this weekend. But if you missed earlier in the live, I said to Steve, the number one question that everyone asked me was, has your wife heard it yet? Not, have you broken a bit yet? Not, what was your first project? Not, did you do flatten your spoil board? Not, what software are you using? Everyone asked me, did your wife?
It's like, how much noise does it make?
Right. And then last week on the live, when I finally said I got it, I wasn't prepared to build it because they said it was going to show up for like the following week. And I got it in 2 days. So I was waiting on the table, and then they kind of arrived at the same time. So I thought I'd have the table built, and then a week later the CNC would show up, and they kind of showed up like right at the same exact time. So with that being said, I'm moving the 2 trees, moving my dust collectors, and building the Dominator right next to the 150. And someone asked last week in the live, jokingly, Rick, the power, can you run them both at the same time? And it was like, again with these questions, and it wasn't the power, it was the noise. I'm thinking like, well, how will it sound with both of them? So it just really drove home to me like this big investment. There's a lot of equipment down here now. Like I can't have this equipment just to make YouTube videos. I have to actually use it. So to be functional, something I use on a regular basis in my house, in my basement, I have to really make those improvements to oblige my family, right? Or however you want to word that.
Well, in general, as they say, if you have a CNC and it's not powered on, it's losing money.
Yes. So there you go. So that was a long-winded answer, but that was it. Right? It said, nope, I just looked and both your emails are under more info. Okay, well, maybe it's back.
Yeah, you do have to click the button, though.
Maybe it's back.
It wasn't even the button on my own channel.
There wasn't even an option; like it was completely gone. So I think they're doing some changes.
Maybe.
Gordon said, "Good evening, Alberta, Canada." Hey, Gordon.
I was going to ask him if it was snowing there yet, but I think it's still warm there.
We're supposed to get snow this Sunday, Chicago.
Are you? We actually just got our first frost the other day.
Oh, okay.
Like the 3rd of November. What is it? The 5th? Yeah, I think it was the 3rd. I woke up on Tuesday, and it was 0.00 on my weather station.
So Latinx Designs, I'm the first person to have the PWN CNC the first person to have the Dominator outside of the manufacturer. There's only 2 built right now, completely assembled. And one is mine and one is the manufacturer's. Matter of fact, as we talked last week, and we were talking about being early on receiving something. There's no manuals or anything yet with mine. So when I'm at that point, I want to have everything kind of laid out, so I'm not just asking dumb questions. I want to have things out, but like, how do I do this? How do I do that? There'll probably be some video helping. But what I kind of did like what they did different is that first off, talking with Steve when he had the Onefinity, the really reason I leaned towards the Onefinity and I liked it, besides the bulkiness of it, I should say, like the stiffness, the sturdiness, the way it was built. I like the whole Masso controller thing, and I understand the Masso controller, like that in itself is a large added expense.
Yep.
But
yeah,
to
they're
me,
like $1,000 just for the controller, right?
Right. So when you're trying to compare apples to apples, like that is like a very expensive accessory that is automatically tacked on. It's not like it's an option that you can choose not to purchase. So now the new Masso controller, there's cheaper versions of it that like basically doesn't have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
But still has the touch features. So I get they're making a little more price friendly. So that's cool. But I definitely want the PWNC and C spindle, because everyone's going to be brand loyal to something, alt mill, Onefinity, whatever it is. The common denominator was that spindle. That seems to be like the go-to spindle. And I'm not saying you couldn't get a off-the-wall brand or whatever, but if you're looking at someone, the chances are, regardless of what CNC it is, a lot of people have that spindle. It's pretty popular. So I think I kind of went down that rabbit hole.
CNCs are just like lasers as far as going down rabbit holes.
Yes. Chris said, Steve, I saw Ryan. What?
Chris says, I saw Ryan from Valley Forge did a comparison video between his journey through getting a laser engraving business going and what I did in my five stages video. I watched it. It was interesting to see a different perspective. Like for him, stage 1, which was the hobby stage, I said it was probably like 2 hours for you, right? Whereas a lot of people just get there and that's where they stop. And the other question he asked, which I thought was constructive, was he asked, is anybody at stage 5 where you're actually a brand, right? And the answer there is probably 90% of people, even if they have a booming business, don't ever get to the point where they say, oh, I'm a brand, right? Where you got like the t-shirt and everybody knows who you are by that name, right? So,
right.
It's it was interesting to see how his journey was a little different than certainly the one I took.
That's a good comment, Steve. My wife had asked me, I make a lot of wood stuff. And she said, how come you don't put your name on it? And I said exactly what you just said. Because I don't really have like a brand. So I just started writing, created by Rick Ramirez. My name in a cursive, and the year I made it. So it says 2025 or whatever.
Yeah. And that in itself could be easily argued as a brand too, but
like a name, I don't have like.
Well, that's the thing, right? A brand it's more than a name even, right? It's basically, here's what I stand for. And it can transcend just making something, like just turning on your CNC and building something, right? You could be, I mentioned this in the video, you could be running classes, you could teach people, you could be working with larger companies, right? Being a supplier to a larger company. So it's that kind of thing where you're kind of beyond being just in business and making money. You're now kind of crucial infrastructure in somebody else's business.
I think what you really did was make the not obvious. Like there's levels to this, right? And
there are,
and
but what's not obvious is when you switch from one to the next, right? Because it isn't, and sadly you have to document this somehow. But unfortunately, the way I did this, it made it sound like you're here, and then boom, you're here, right? And you keep going. And in reality, and this is when Ryan did his video, the reality is there's really blurry lines between, are you a hobbyist or are you in a side hustle now, right? It's not like you wake up tomorrow and, okay, now I'm a side hustle, right? It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good that he did a bit of coverage there.
That's cool. It's cool. Chris said Kickstarter is used as a marketing tool these days.
Yep. Yeah, that was my point. It's like, yeah, you can have a mega corporation doing a Kickstarter project, and really what they're after is, what's the level of interest for this?
Santa's Laban Graydon said, random thought, your opinions. All the creator machines are getting more user-friendly for everyone. Does it eventually kill us to who truly love creating and problem-solving ones here?
I've had this thought myself, right? So this is the challenge when we automate things. Like if you look 50 years ago at a wood shop, right? Some kind of a workshop. The person or people in that shop, they were like craftspeople.
Yes.
Right. So I keep going back to inlay because there were people who spent 20 years, 30 years learning how to do inlay, right? They trained with people and they did all these things. I can do inlay in 10 minutes now with a CNC, and I know nothing about inlay, but it looks better than the thing that guy who toiled for 30 years did. It's lowering the bar to the point where anybody can do what they do, but the thing that's missing is the art, right? That creativity spark. That there are people, like you see it at a craft market, right? You see a whole bunch of people who make coasters, and then you see people who make coasters, right? Like you walk up and they're just like coasters you've never seen before, right?
Right.
And the difference is they have the same equipment. The difference is one of them has an artistic kind of bent, that like they have a gene for artism that most people don't have. And I mean, it's something I don't have. Like, sadly, I need a ruler to draw a straight line, right? And I can use Fusion, I can use all these design tools, and I can do those things, but there's that heart isn't in it. And that's the thing that you can never solve with a tool.
So Steve, early on when I was doing the laser engraving, there's this guy who befriended me on Facebook. He's from Poland. I would say he's a master craftsman, like old school with a chisel, master craftsman, right? Then later, from scratch, built his own CNC. So from the technology aspect, he still has the craftsmanship behind it to be, I would say, still deemed like an official woodworker, right?
Yeah.
And when I was doing some of these engravings and deep engravings, in these memorial planterns I was using, he was kind of making fun of me, poking the beehive, so to speak. And a couple people said, like, why don't you block him? And I said, you know what? I would if he wasn't badass. If I can look at someone's work and they can, I have thick skin, right? Like, you can give me a hard time. I'm not going to be a wuss about it or block you and cry. Now, if you're just being a straight jerk, that's one thing. But if you're going to give me a hard time or you're really trying to just push me to the next level, let's go, man.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, I've had people like this too, right? And I showed you the puzzle piece cutting board I made.
Right.
That was because somebody who did, well, at that point it's intarsia or something. It's not inlay, but you're basically taking two different pieces of wood and you're putting them together. And got into a bit of a heated discussion, and it was like, these people who they're on the elite side of artistics, right? And they go, well, what you do isn't really, isn't really craftsmanship. So I made this puzzle piece, and I showed him, and I said, fine, make one of these, right? You're a master craftsman, and it's virtually impossible to make that by hand, like, just because it's precise to within like fractions of a millimeter, right?
Right.
So at that point, it isn't still art. Like, I still don't consider it art, but it's an indication that the machine enables you to do something that, no matter how good you are or how long you've been doing something by hand, you can't do it.
Right.
Like lasers is the same way, right? Like, if you want to engrave a design into a piece of wood, it's trivial with a laser, right? Think about a guy who carved that by hand. Right. I can understand why those people would be frustrated when, Bucky Joe buys $100 laser and he makes the same thing, and and then sells it for $5. Meanwhile, this guy's spent 100 hours carving something by hand.
Yeah.
And I can understand that frustration. But the reality is, if I was buying one, I'd probably buy the one that he spent 100 hours on, because the thing is going to be a piece of art.
Yeah. The problem is that most customers wouldn't appreciate that. They just want the end result.
Yeah. And again, there are people who are artists, and a laser's just another paintbrush for them, right? And they make stuff with lasers that I could only dream of making.
Yeah. So, man, I can't believe I can't remember the name. Who was it that was making those canvases? Do you remember the name?
Paul Owen.
Yes. I mean, you want to talk about someone who takes, I want to say that's like modern art, right?
Yes.
Because
he's doing it with like an old X2 D1, like a 10-watt laser. Like, it's not even a new laser, but I couldn't make what he's making.
Right. I'll be right back 1 second.
Jeez, we feel so alone. All right, then we go to the next question here. Oh, we missed that one. Tim says, I have the biggest lake in North America, 200 feet from my street. Yeah, the Atlantic Ocean is pretty close to me too. Not quite as close as 200 feet, but it's about 2 miles probably.
Sorry, guys. Still have the sniffles.
What's the best way to clean the laser fan on a WeCreate 40-watt? You can actually, you're talking about the fan on the back, I assume. You can actually, 4 screws will take that right out.
Yeah.
And you can just take some air. You could leave it in there first and try it with compressed air and blow it out.
It's not a bad idea to spin.
If it's the laser, if it's the fan on top of the laser module, same deal. You can just take some air and blow it out.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Wow, I didn't even see it pop up, and it was gone.
What are the types of material you use the most?
He's asking Michael. This is in question for the cleaning. Yeah, it might matter. If you're doing metals, you're probably not going to mess up the fan too much on a diode laser. But plywood is pretty dirty stuff, actually, when you engrave it.
Yeah. Chris said we're on an island. They couldn't escape. You guys come here more danger, bears, wolves, snakes, than our friendly local daddy critters. Like, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, we don't have any where I live. We don't have any snakes that'll kill you. But
so when I went to grade school in Canada, our power kept getting knocked out, and that's because a bear kept knocking down the poles. So they thought it would be a great idea to bring the bear to our grade school alive and allow it in a cage, a huge cage, and then open the cage and let the bear run toward us and then a guy shot it with like a dart, and it passed out. And
That
then let
sounds
us pet it.
horrible.
And then let us pet it. You know, and I was thinking, like, as I told this story as an adult, they're like, "What if you missed?" It's like there wasn't two guys with a gun; it was a single guy.
Was there a plan B?
I don't think so. I don't think that was well thought out. Bunch of grade school kids with a live bear, an angry live bear, to top it off. Yeah.
Yeah, most bears are pretty timid, so you don't see them too often. But we have had them on our street, actually.
Yeah, but I'm sure he was angry because they had him in a cage driving 70 miles an hour to our school, right?
Yeah, they can bears can run much faster than people think.
Yes.
I chased one. I was driving my father's truck one time, and I chased one down a gravel road in the middle of nowhere. He was on the road, and I chased him, and he was doing about 30 miles an hour. And when we got to the corner, he kept going straight.
Yeah, they can move. Tim said, "Can you remove the fan?" Yeah.
Yeah, the one on the back you can. If it's the laser module one, I think it would be a little more prohibitive to remove it. But yeah, Chris says I think the 2 in F2 is the second generation. Yeah, I think that's probably the case, given that there's now a P3, which is the third generation of that laser.
So the 2 screws on the top, but the plate does not come off.
Yeah, so he's talking about the one in the laser module. Yeah, just pump some air into it.
Yeah.
If you got like spray air that photographers use to clean lenses, lens cleaning, that's fine. Or relatively low pressure compressed air from a compressor.
Yeah, it'd be cheaper with obviously a compressor, but
yeah.
Tim said if you're using soft, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Okay. Well, Tim said if you're using softwood, the fan blades will be sticky. Yeah, that's the plywood problem too, right? So alcohol is needed. It's best if you check with their website to see if you can remove the fan to clean it better. Or just use a cotton swab.
The cedar fence pickets, man.
Because it's basically like a pine tree, right? So there's a lot of gum in it.
Yeah, so I use a lot of alcohol, clean everything up.
Yeah. Cedar would be pretty smoky too, I bet. I don't cut cedar.
Not with the ventilation system I have, you see it, but it just sucks it right out, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but a little bit of it will be sticking on the fan blades. Right?
Well, you know, my wife did say, she says, one of these days someone's going to call the cops. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, it looks like her house is on fire because on the outside of my house, it's a dryer vent.
Yeah.
And
that's what I have.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
We had like a major drought here this summer. So you weren't allowed to light a match, right? Like it's just, and you know, I was doing some project for somebody and it was quite smoky. And I went out behind my workshop and looked at the fan and, you know, there's like a stream of smoke coming out of the thing. And I thought, man, somebody's going to call the cops on me. Going to burn down the forest.
Yeah. Gordon said, now there'll be snow the next few days. Yes, we're in the Chicagoland area. They said snow this Sunday.
Yeah. Well, he's a little north and a little west of you. So he'll probably get it first. He can tell you how bad it is. We don't normally get snow that stays here until, I don't know, the end of January or middle of January.
Chris said sending the Dominator to a noob is a double-edged sword, but it shows faith in the machine. There you go.
Yeah.
They said that they want a CNC 101. Like, what does this button do? So they wanted at that level so that an entry-level person with a CNC could literally show I have the ability, or I'm going to have the ability to operate and use this machine in a functional environment, in a business environment to create an income or, you know, advanced hobbyist, not someone who's been CNCing the last 25 years and can run through it backward and forward. That's not showing someone who's looking to get in CNC that it's any less intimidating or possible to achieve. So I think that's their approach. So I think that's good. And exactly what you did say though, that and more extremely someone who's influenced with CNCs or experienced CNCs, they could kind of jump through the hoops of some of the flaws, and someone who's bumping their head against the wall as they're learning these mistakes, those could be kind of exposed. So that just means that they have good faith in their own product. But what I will say, the competitive advantage is that I keep saying that no matter what CNC you see someone have, the chances are high that you'd see their spindle, right? So in order to have their spindle work well with all these different CNCs, they've purchased them. Yeah. They've purchased every one CNC to disassemble it, assemble it, and pair their spindles with it. And they're big in what Massel as well. So they have a lot invested in. So having had in their hands every competitor CNC and have it physically built in their shops, they know the pros and cons, the flaws of everyone's CNC, so they can improve upon it. So that's a good advantage that I think a lot of CNC manufacturers may not ever go down that road because they don't care to. Like, they're in their own lane, right? This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to build, and they may not directly care what someone's doing, but that was not their original market, so that's why they went down that road. They're adapting to somebody else's product, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of get to cheat on your competitors, right?
Yeah. Radu said, I thought Valley's Ford was Eric.
You might actually be right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, he says, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ran into him first, actually. I did a live stream on Rich's channel like 3 years ago or 4 years ago even. And he was the other guest at the same time. So he was just getting started at that point.
Nice. Clack said, I think I stalled out at level 2.
Clack's a side hustler. Yeah, but now you're retired, so now this is your only job. So now you're a business guy. The downside of being in an actual business is then you get all these crazy pressures, right? Like, I've had a project sitting on my workbench since September. And every time I look at it, it's like, yeah, I got to get back to that and finish it. And it's like, I'm surprised the guy hasn't been calling me, screaming at me.
So see, the one advantage I have, I think that I still consider myself a side hustle, not like a legit business, is because what you said, I still have the enjoyment of from my shop on the weekend. I go, what do I want to make? Like, I made those laundry.
It's still fun, right? Not that what I do isn't fun, but there's times when it feels like a job.
Yeah, well, Andy said that he hasn't had enjoyment in 3 years doing this anymore.
Yeah,
because he's not able to make anything that he's wanted to make, or had time to make anything he's wanted to make. Just kind of.
You do have to make time, right? Like, at best, I'd say I work, quote unquote work, maybe 3 days a week, and the other 2 days are just catching up on things that I wanted to investigate or learn something new or do a project for somebody. That is more like a gift type thing. Wow, your camera zooms in when you drink the beer, man. It's like a commercial. Look how smooth that goes down.
You can sponsor us, Modelo.
Yeah, so Chris raises a good point here, and he says, I think people have a brand, but they don't build the brand. And that's definitely true. Like, Clack thinks he's at stage 2. He thinks he's a side hustler, but he's got a brand. And now that he's got nothing to do for most of the day, well, whatever his wife puts in his job jar, but now he has time to build that up, right? Well, he might have time. Maybe he's going fishing. I don't know. But
I guess it's sort of, but you have to have a creative idea to start the AI journey.
AI
journey.
Well,
so
creativity still matters, right?
Yeah.
There's no getting around that. You can have the best tools in the world, and you still have to have an imagination, right? And a vision to make something happen. And honestly, that's where I am weaker, right? Like creativity for me is much harder than learning how to do something on any given tool.
The one thing I would say too about being creative, my wife gets upset at me sometimes, and she says, "How could you sell that for that price? It took you so long." And I said, anytime I'm going to create something that I'm later going to mass produce, the first one always takes way long. There's no blueprint. Like you are creating it. You're taking a vision, someone scribbled on a napkin, or someone they had a conversation about it, and creating it. Like that's awesome, But
this is especially true for CNCs, right? Because you've got to get all the speeds and feeds for all your bits the way you want, and you lay down all these tool paths, you save it to a file, you make one, but then the next one you make, you don't have to do anything, right? You put a piece of wood down and you push the start button. And you can sell that one for the same price you sold the first one.
Right.
So, but if like for me, I only generally make one of something. Like specifically, a lot of people I make things for specifically say, I don't want to see another one of these anywhere ever. So, and that's and that's saying, hey, I'm willing to pay to have an exclusive piece here. Right. So, it's just whatever business model you're in. But things like, well, I mean, you came out of the t-shirt business, right? If you come out with a t-shirt tomorrow, somebody's going to be selling the same one. Absolutely. Because the barrier to do that is pretty low. If you've got a DTF printer, you can make any t-shirt that anyone else has made.
So that's the whole thing with Etsy too, is like with Etsy, they want you to have like these certain size pictures and certain resolutions. And when the apparel industry, it's easy to go right click, save, reprint.
Yeah.
I can see Steve CNC's designs all day. Look at his website. He can say I'm selling $2 million of these. I still have to create it. I can't right click, save, and steal his work. You can steal his idea, his concept, but it's not going to be the same. It's going to be your version of that, right? And if you saw someone's idea and you made your version upon it, you approved upon it, you just didn't try to carbon copy it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think it still requires some type of skill when it comes to woodworking.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the tech world, we call it reverse engineering, right? You see something that somebody built on Etsy, and you might look at it and go, "Oh, this will be easy to recreate," but you have to recreate it, right? It may not be particularly hard, but it's going to take time,
right?
And time is money, the old adage, right? So, so you don't want to spend too much effort on it. But you can do it. Like, I mean, I could look at anything on Etsy and go, yeah, I can make that.
So I cheated in some sense that when I first started making stuff with CNC, as I said, I understand I have to learn tool paths. I understand I have to learn to create artwork from scratch, just as the same as I did with a laser. But I kind of want to start, and I wanted to start this series so that I can drop 13 videos back to back to back to back. So I bought some artwork with tool paths and all that into it. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I don't need to learn that, but I wanted to be able to say, this is what this machine is capable of doing. And then later show the journey of me learning those skills, because I think that is a skill that needs to be learned or should be learned. Otherwise, you're really limited on what you can buy.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because in general, if you're trying to make something and you've never used a CNC before, well, let's say you've used it enough to know what a toolpath is, but not enough to say, hey, what are the settings for a 1/4-inch end mill to do this, right? Well, there's 2 ways to do that. You can ask somebody, me, Clack, anybody who's been doing CNC for a while, and they may tell you, or you can buy a design and look at the tool path and say, why did they pick this speed and this feed rate? And learn that way.
Yeah, and like our buddy Cutting It Close, he has a library you can download of every single drill bit you can imagine. So, and it's free. So, not just to download his library and say, thank you, I'm going to go buy some Amazon bits, which I did do. I purchased bits as well. Just kind of like my way of saying thanks for this library. Because early on, Steve, when I was asking those type of questions, you said, hey, Rick, when you learn an upcut 1/4-inch O flute bit, it doesn't matter if it's, such and such brand or such and such brand. You're going to kind of learn that that's really kind of your honey spot, right?
Yeah.
But a tool library is a great place to start. So I know that there was a great effort in creating that file, and because he had that downloadable, and his bits are not cheap. I could buy 50 bits, probably a set of 30 for 2 bits that he's selling on his website.
Well, if you're comparing Amazon bits to like real carbide bits, there's quite a difference. Right. You'll see the
right. No, I'm not saying quality or anything like that. I'm just saying pure bits, right?
Yeah.
So because he took all the time and effort to creating that file, I did purchase a couple different sets from him. So, a hog out set. I got that. I got every primary color for the HDPE. So I want to start making a lot of those signs, and I got those OFU bits from him. So and he's cool, man, because he was on our live once, but he's easily approachable. So you have a problem, it's cool. He's accessible to his customers.
Yeah. It's just you'll learn, right? But at this point, any help, like it's the same thing in lasers, right? When people say, and fiber lasers are notorious for this, right? When somebody says, oh, what were the settings for that? Well, like it's a fiber laser, man. You could have the same model of fiber laser I have, and the settings might be different.
Yeah.
Not radically, but different enough that my settings may or may not work for you, right? So sometimes you just got to tell people, hey, run a material test, right? And you can do the same thing with CNC bits, right? You can say, how does this perform at 12,000 RPM or 16 or 18? Most bits I wouldn't go over 18, but and what speed can I get away with? What, plunge rates, all these things you can, and take meticulous notes. And
so the plunge rate, what was crazy to me, Steve, is because they were saying like you create this file and use the standard settings, and it's, let's say, 4 hours, because it goes,
yeah,
you just do boom, like that could make drastic difference for a big, very detailed project, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful because you can't plow through the thing because you'll chip it or break it or stall. You could break the bit. And I mean, stalling the spindle is one thing. Breaking, a $50 bit is a different problem, right? One of those will make you groan. The other one will make you swear. So, but you have to learn all those things. This is why I said start with a bunch of cheap bits, because you're going to break.
And that's exactly what I did. So I bought some pretty large sets from some. I don't know that they're reputable, from Amazon. I mean, I guess they have higher feedback.
Well, unless they do sell. I mean, some vendors sell good bits on Amazon, like Amanda sells bits, and you can probably get Jenny bits on Amazon.
They were a quarter of the price of anyone else online. Just put it that way. So if I was to break the bit, I wouldn't start crying. It wasn't a $50 bet. Bit was like $50 sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do have a couple very expensive bits. I haven't broke those, but I've also been babying it. I haven't been highly aggressive in anything I made.
That's okay. Being cautious.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing something that it's just like a standard hog out a piece of wood and hand it to somebody. Like I do, people have they take acrylic templates and they run a router around them.
Yes.
They want something like that, right? Just hog it out for me and I'll paint it or do something. Those I use like the cheapest bits I can because it's like they're going to sand it anyway and but those are like 5 bits for $30 on Amazon type bits
Right.
for quarter-inch mills.
What I did want to start kind of slowly stepping up is I want to start making a lot of those because I think they're cheap and I'm using a lot of scraps. Those like catch-all trays.
Mm-hmm.
Just little small dresser for change, for keys, whatever. Just in reality, my thing is that like that to me is just good practice. And if I make $10, $15, whatever, it was scrap. I was gonna throw it in a burn pile if eventually just piled up high enough, right?
Yeah.
And if I screw it up,
make bowls for people to throw their keys in at the front door, right?
Yeah. Right. Who said what is the canvas guy's name again?
Canvas?
The canvas guy. The guy who made all the crazy.
Oh, Paul Owen.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go on a Facebook group and search for Paul.
He hasn't posted anything for a while. Would you say?
Yeah. Oh, nothing, man.
Well, he's in Belgium, right? So his time difference kills him for being on the live stream. But
yeah, matter of fact, we even told him we'd allow him to join the live because it was kind of show his it's badass. Chris said when cleaning a fan module, use a toothpick or something to stop it from spinning when using compressed air.
Yeah. Yeah, I typically use like a Q-tip or something. Stick it in there.
Chris said, I reject a lot of... Go ahead.
Chris says, I reject a lot of jobs with a deadline. Yeah, it doesn't go out until my wife can't spot any flaws in it. Well, I appreciate the fact that your wife will try to spot flaws in your stuff. My wife looks at everything I do and thinks it's the dumbest thing ever. So it's like, who's going to want that?
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Exactly. It's funny. My wife said the same exact thing about those baskets, the basket holder. And she says, no, what if you made like one that instead of going in this way, went this way? And you did 3. And I was like, why? I knew why. I just wanted her to say it. Oh, I was thinking, you want one? So I'll be building my wife one. I knew what you did.
Yeah. So, I mean, all our cutting boards and stuff are boards that I've made, but yeah, my wife thinks everything I do is pretty dumb as far as business. She looked at a big box of watch bands, and I mean, there's probably like 600 watch bands in it. And she said, "Who's going to want that?" I said, "This box of watch bands is like $1,500. Like, it's a lot of money."
Right.
So you can't judge what other people want, right?
Yeah, but in the same breath, you can't always only make what you like. You got like sometimes like the stupid basket thing. People kept asking me until I finally had enough people. Then I made fun of Clack for making those stupid stove covers. People kept asking me, and I'm like, no. And now finally, so enough people ask me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make the damn stupid stove covers, But I get you have to. So to me, it's a side hustle at this point. It's not like my full-time gig that I can turn down things that I just don't find fun. Like, But at the same token, if you are trying to make money, sometimes you just got to make things that aren't fun to you.
I was gonna show you something, but I don't have the image here. Recently, I've been taking just scrap pieces of acrylic and putting, like I cut them to the size of a Pokemon card and then print a Pokemon card on it. But I use the E1 and it's 3D, right? Like you get a textured feel. And every time I make one of these, like I'll always have one on my workbench, and people will come in and look at them, but people always take them, so I have to keep making them. And I was complaining to a guy the other day. I said, I keep making these things and people keep stealing them. And he looked at him and went, well, I'd like a few of those. So I had that was early this week. I had to make a bunch of them and get them sent out to him because he was, and it wasn't just like, oh, make me a Pokemon card. It was, here are the 4 that I want.
That's funny. Tim said the orange is definitely a brand. He's talking about the Clack.
Clack orange.
Because I was messing. My stuff reached business level a couple years ago. I'm just blessed and love what I do now. It's great,
that's the best way.
Yep.
The beauty, and maybe you haven't appreciated this yet, Clack, the beauty of not having a full-time job is you can decide when you want your business to be a business and when you just want to take a day off. I will confess that most of this week I've been kind of lazy. I haven't done a whole lot of shop work, but it's just I feel a little burned out this week, so I'm gonna take it slow.
Yeah, I got a order for a bunch of hoodies for a plumbing company, and they've been bugging me, but I'm like, dude, I'm dying, bro. Like, I'm just feeling rough. So it's like, it's kind of like, I'm going to work, and I feel like staying up till 2:00 in the morning working, get up, like, nah, man, I need my rest. Like, sorry, dude, you can wait.
This is why you need to get little Ricky doing these things for you. Child labor, man.
That kind of stuff is still, it's too dangerous.
Yeah,
but
especially the heat press.
yeah, but like wood assembly stuff, that boy can use an impact, like the jack-o'-lanterns. I had him screwing on all the tops, touching up any little flaws of paint where I missed anything. Nice. Matter of fact, my wife yelled at me the other day. She said, "You see this bag of clothes?" And I said, "Okay. If Ricky goes in the basement with you, he has to wear something from this bag." What's the big deal? They're sweatpants. She's like, those are Nike sweatpants. They're like $40. I'm like, $40? He's 5 years old. Why did he have $40 sweatpants? I'm like, I just thought they were black sweatpants. No big deal. Let's go. But
jeez, $40.
Yeah. Learning to buy,
because you're paying all the tariffs, I guess.
Yeah. Learning to buy CNC bits can be an art in itself. Yes. So
yeah,
the money is,
that's true.
But I think it's also like intimidating at first because like you don't necessarily know what you need, right? So that was the kind of cool thing too about like looking at some of the artwork, because they were telling you like if you were to buy this file, you should have this type of bit, this type of bit, this type of bit, and you're looking at what it's doing. So that was kind of like, okay, cool. So I could see that I may need 5 of these bits because I'm going to break this bit, but this is going to be a bit I'm going to use all the time. Or I do a lot of cursive scripting. So I start seeing, okay, these type of bits. And,
yeah, and that's what I was referring to when I said when you're looking at the file, like if you buy someone else's file, you kind of get some insight of their knowledge, right? Like, let alone the number of bits, there's up cuts and down cuts, for example, on twist bits, right? So it's like, okay, why would I use an upcut bit or a downcut bit? Hey, we got to zoom in on the beer drink again. It's like, so yeah, I mean, you kind of get to appreciate what that is. And I mean, if you don't understand it, like if the thing is using an upcut bit, try a downcut bit and see what the difference is. I just do keep a lot of wood scraps and just test things, right? And you'll see when you would want to use a downcut versus an upcut, for example.
And to me too, like even some of those bits, like they're using smaller bits, like in those catch-all trays, versus using the hog out bit and then going back and kind of going over it and using closer steps, I guess, to take out like the lines.
Yeah,
that hog out bit, man, is like, talk about save time. You know what I mean? But
yeah, well, that's the thing, right? But whoever made the design either didn't have that bit or assumed that whoever was going to use this design isn't going to have one of those.
Right. They're
yeah,
not
I
going to have an
mean,
80
that's the
pound
thing,
bit.
right?
Just
You can, once you kind of
yeah.
get up to speed, you can go, oh, I can save time if I do this, right? And it's
Yes.
not only the material, like working on the material itself. It's what happens after the job is done, right? Like you can look at it, like you pull it off the CNC and you go, man, I got a whole pile of sanding to do. Well, there's
Yes.
ways on the CNC to save time, right? You can do one last. So when you engrave or when you hog something out, you can say make it a millimeter bigger, and then on the last pass, cut it down to size, and then it does one pass, so you don't get all these weird lines and stuff on it, and you have
Right.
almost no sanding to do, right? So that saves you, another 25 minutes probably when you're done CNC.
Yeah.
So there's lots of tricks, and you kind of get to know those things after a while.
Yeah. So those are some of the tricks I'm starting to learn. And like I said, I've just been really unaggressive just because I don't have a large amount of bits and I think I'm tapped out. I'm tapped out right now.
You're living on salt and pepper sandwiches yet? If
I'm
not, then
done
you
with
got money for bits.
that. I need to start making some more sawdust before I start buying some more stuff. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But I set a budget within myself to be realistic.
Yeah, well, that's a good plan.
Yeah. Dave said I can create monograms on a CNC that look pretty good until I take out a paintbrush. Yeah.
So there's ways to do this too. So if you use the Aura film, whatever it's called, the blue stuff, put that on first, cut your monogram, and then paint it right away, and then peel the thing off. You'll have perfect painted monograms.
So I do that a lot on the CNC with masking tape. So on the laser. So when I got the CNC, I bought that film.
Yeah.
I kept seeing it in videos. Matter of fact, one of our subscribers actually is the one who told me the name. So I went and bought it.
It's Aura something or other.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tim said, Rick, I'm at the exact spot you are in with CNC. I'm still learning software and bits, and you're talking about the library that James did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hang on.
Oops, sorry.
Hey Rick. Yeah. I saw hey Rick, but then he asked a question to me, so I just jumped to the next. I just bought the Flash Forge AD5X. An input would be great. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you.
3D printer. I don't know what kind of input do you want?
Yeah.
It's a
elaborate on your question.
It's a middle-sized ish kind of Core XY printer. Nice little printer. Okay. They asked me, actually, they've been bugged me a few times to review it, and I just didn't have time.
So it's a bed slinger one?
No, it's Core XY.
Okay. I guess let us know exactly what type of question you have in regards to the printer.
And what kind of input you're looking for, really. Yeah. Chris says, there's an idea, a material test for CNC bits. Yeah, you can make one. Like make a cut pattern and I mean, if you got a bunch of V bits, you'll see quite a difference if you're using like the V carve toolpath in Vectric. Just the different angle of bit will give you a very different engraving, right?
So Steve, it's funny you said that because one of the first things I did was I was just making lines.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see what it
somewhere.
No, I just wanted to see what it looked like. Like, so how does this I wanted to see it, So I just took a piece of scrap wood and I just put lines, I changed a bit, I made a line, like, oh, that's kind of cool. You have these diagrams with all these different bits for your router table. So you have an idea like how it's gonna look. So I was creating those lines just to see how exactly is it. You know what I haven't done though, but I have the bit, but I want to start doing the keyholes with the CNC.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got a keyhole bit, they're actually pretty easy. It's basically you do a plunge, and then you say go out whatever, half an inch or something, and then come back. So you basically have 2 lines. And then you lift up and you'll have the hole, like the circular hole in a slot.
Yeah.
So we're running out of time here, so we got a few questions left. Hey, Velf is back. Thoughts on the F2? I'm not sure what kind of thoughts. I like the F2. It's probably not something that's good for me because I'm pretty much attached to my shop, but for people who are at craft markets or doing any kind of personalization, or quite often I have needed something like this because customers will say, hey, can you show me something, right? Like if it's somebody who makes cupboards for a living, they're not going to bring a cupboard to you, right? They're going to say, hey, come to me. And you can use the F2 for that kind of thing. Like portability is the whole value there. I mean, it's a nice laser, but it's really nicest for portability.
Yeah, so he's debating if he wants to get that laser. That's why I was asking. Chris said it's not about what you want, it's what the customer wants. Then decide if you want to make it. Yeah, I mean, is it worth your time?
Yep. Well, I mean, you can stand on your principles too, right? And say, well, I don't make what you're asking for.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally don't. Yeah, or a mess. That's it. I generally don't judge what people want. If they want something, I don't care if I like it or not. It's not my concern, right? It doesn't have to hang on my wall. But some people will say, well, I don't do X, and I don't know. It just
the flip side of that coin is I make a lot of religious stuff. And early on when I was in the apparel, doing a lot of apparel Christian shirts, people would report my store. And because they report it, Facebook would shut it down. They do an investigation. There was clearly nothing wrong. There was nothing offensive at all. And they would just reopen my store. But the point was that they were just getting shut down constantly. So even though you may not think what you're making is offensive, just know that you may have people aggressive. That's also why I don't make anything I'm not a Trump fan by any means, but I don't make anything saying anti-Trump or Trump, type of things, because that's gonna put that on me. I mean, I'll take the lashings for the Christian stuff because, I believe in that. That's part of my faith. But the politics, I just stay out of, even though I may have my own opinion on it, because I don't need the effects of my business.
Yeah, I mean, I generally stay away from politics too much. I've done a couple of T-shirts for myself that were politically motivated, but not to the point of being offensive to anybody, I don't think. But
the only thing I am going to be making soon, and I think it's funny, I'm making a challenge coin with Trump on one side and Obama on the other side. Trump on the other side, because I say the family gatherings are coming, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all. You always have one relative that just can't let go politics. Just can't let it go. Shouldn't even bring it up, right? So we had this coin. You're like, look, man, hit your shot, flip. All right, you won, you lost, but it's over. I just thought it was funny because we all know that person, right? I have a couple people in my family that are that way. So they're both on both sides. So whether you're
that's when you just throw something into throw a comment down and let them duke it out, right? Just to sit there and drink your beer.
Poke in the eye.
Yeah, so Rado's pointing out that Vintari did a video on the Flash Forge.
Oh, sorry.
Which is correct. He did. Yeah, it's a little small actually, but it's an interesting little 3D printer. I mean, 3D printers in general are all pretty good now, right? Well,
I'll say
most of them are pretty good. There's still some that are, have the edge. Like definitely Bamboo spent a lot of time making sure their print quality was good. Creality, you get decent quality. It's almost as good, but the printers are quite a bit cheaper.
Anyone has any Creality questions for CD for a 3D printer, just make sure you send Roger an email. He offers free tech support, and I can also give you
for Creality.
Only for Crowley, you're allowed to call him in 24 hours a day.
Yeah, so Chris says the toolpath for keyholes is a very narrow rectangle. Basically, it is. It's like a line out and back, right? And it ends up being a rectangle because you can't. It's difficult to cut just a line.
Yeah, just to me, like you make something, and you hand it to them, and they don't have a way of hanging it. Even though they're like impressed with like what you made them, it's kind of like, they got to go to Hobby Lobby, they got to go Home Depot, they got to buy something. So if you have a way for them to hang it, so they bring it home, it's just so much better.
So keyholes is one thing that I actually like the CNC for better. The first time I did a keyhole, I thought, I'm not going to set it up on my CNC. I'll just do it by hand. Yoink! like you're using a trim router with a thing that's basically designed to grab everything, right? And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll just use a CNC for this now.
Yeah, so that's my next thing to learn.
So, yeah, cool. It's pretty simple. It's just as Chris says, just like draw a rectangle that's maybe the two sides are, I don't know, 0.5 millimeter apart or something. Or as big, make the rectangle as big as, so your slot is as big as the screw you're trying to put in there.
Yeah, the head of the screw. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually make everything so that drywall screws work in it.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Of
course, everyone uses drywall screws, right?
Yep. That's exactly what I do. Yeah. Andy said recently did a head-to-head test of 10 different companies' bits, and it's very informative. And I saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I saw it on my feed though. Did you watch it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did see it come on my feed. Uh-oh.
Chris is saying, yeah, isn't a Canada is not for sale shirt offensive to Chester Trump? I don't get into the whole politics thing. It might be. I don't know. I mean, it's not his country to own, so.
Although we have a king, so what are you
gonna do? Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I had to defend you a little bit, Steve.
The older I get, the less I understand global politics. It's like, why do these people do what they do, right?
Radu said, when I was trying a 3D print a bunch of pumpkins, but everyone was out of orange, wondering where it all went. Well, it's the season. Everyone's ordering orange.
Maybe that orange paint? Yeah. Who is it? Who's the Rust-Oleum 2X, the 2-time stuff, 2-coat? They have a pumpkin orange color, and you can just spray it on, and it's easy. But if you're making it out of acrylic or something, well, you're kind of stuck.
I had made orange stain, and I tell you, that was not easy. Like Home Depot had to like dump paint out because they had to put more like added into it than the can could hold.
Yeah.
And we kept experimenting. He's like, never lose this lid, man. He would say, so we can make this again. So the formula's there.
Well, it's what we're in. Well into November. So Radu, start buying red.
There you go.
Because you're going to need it.
If anyone's ever saw the floor, they catch it in the glimpse. Someone has made comments like, did you kill someone? I was staining some Christmas stuff, and right where I'm sitting on the floor, here's a big giant red splurge. It looks like I murdered someone.
Is it like the outline of a body?
Yeah, it definitely looks, as my kids would say, sus. Said the laser cut sawtooth hangers.
He laser cuts sawtooth hangers. I don't know what a sawtooth hanger is. No, I need to go look.
I don't know if he means the saw blades holders.
No, it's the little sawtooth things that you use to hang pictures on. Like you put it on the back of a picture to hang it. You know, the things that are
okay.
So you can move it over and it doesn't slide on the nail. You can.
There you go. So
I didn't know they had a name. He says, Steve, do you mean you don't want to become the 51st state? You're going to make me get political. I'll politely say no.
Yeah. You know, in all fair, I say that to Steve all the time, just to razzle him up. And my wife's French Canadian, so I'm not being racist. I'm just being a friend. They say friends can give each other hard times, right?
It doesn't bother me, but it does bother some people. So I tend to try and watch what I say, especially on YouTube in general.
Yes.
There's people coming from all walks of life. I don't judge them. So
it looks like we're actually 5 after today. Went pretty fast, actually. Thank you for joining the live. A lot of comments. Thank you for the feedback on soundproofing. I'm going to add that in. I am off this Friday, so I got some extra time to finish up the Dominator CNCs to look on that. If you want some sneak peeks, check on TikTok, because I normally do some shorts on TikTok first. But yeah, and then if you guys have any questions, I'm obviously the first person to have that CNC. If there's anything questions you guys want me to cover, you're thinking about purchasing it, anything at all, let me know. We can cover it. And at some point in time, PWCNC will be joining our live, and they'll have a live questions answered. You guys can ask them any questions they want. So yeah, Steve, is there anything you want to say in the close up?
I don't. I got to get back to work tomorrow. That's what I want to say. Lazy all week.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the live. See you on the next one. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you do. See you next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.